Madden was born in Leeds, England. His mother comes to the United States, but she cannot afford to bring her children, so she goes and puts them in an orphanage for 2 years. And when she gets enough money, she brings them to the United States, and they end up in Hell's Kitchen. Now, in Hell's Kitchen is a horrible, horrible place. It's a ghetto, slum, whatever you want to call it. I have to be so careful with words nowadays. But nevertheless, he joins a gang called the Gopher Gang for protection. And the Gopher Gang becomes a major criminal organization, and Madden is in charge of that. Now, how major? Let me give you an idea. Okay, so Madden is going to control the alcohol, the prostitution, and the gambling. But as a gangster, he wants to control more than that, so he is going to control the telephone company. By the way, when he lives here, he also controls the telephone company because he ran a numbers racket. He had to be able to get the information. Actually, here, the telephone company was in his office building. So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, in New York, he controlled that. He controlled the garment district, which of course in New York is a big deal. He controlled the laundry business in New York. He controlled the garbage collection. He controlled the freight trucks that move things around the city. He controlled part of the docks. He controlled part of Broadway. He controlled 2 racetracks. You get the picture? So he was very, very, very powerful. Now he gets in trouble with the law. He gets arrested over 50 times, but he only gets convicted twice. One for kind of a misdemeanor. The second one was for murder. And he's sent to prison for 20 years to Sing Sing. He serves 8 of those 20 years and gets out on probation. Now when he gets out on probation, the Attorney General of New York, a guy named Thomas Dewey. Some of you know history. Thomas Dewey ran for president twice. Matter of fact, nobody thought Truman could beat Dewey. If you want to read a really interesting book, read the Truman book by McCullough. But anyway, Dewey calls him in and says, "You're no longer welcome in New York. If you stay here, I'm going to arrest you and I'm going to put you away for the rest of your life." So he has to go somewhere. So where does he come? Hot Springs, Arkansas. And why does he come here? Because we already had a reputation. We do not arrest bad guys in Hot Springs. As long as you don't cause trouble here, we don't care what you've done anywhere else. As long as you come here, don't cause any problem, spend your money here, you're welcome. In 1931, he takes over control of all the illegal activities that are going on here. And he will be here until 1965 when he dies. Madden is very, very important to the development of what happened here. All the things were already going on, that I mentioned earlier, when the mayor becomes mayor, the city wasn't profiting. It was already doing all the illegal things. Well, Madden comes, his expertise is knowing how to do those illegal things at the most profit. But what he also brings is he brings a settling effect. He comes here in 1931, and he will die here in 1965. And from 31 till 65, basically, we had no problems with the gangsters here in town. I mean, the video will tell you every gangster that came to town knew to check in with, go back to wherever they came from and try to kill each other again. Second thing that rule that he set down was that all the games in town would be fair. There'd be no cheating. The reason for that, he said, the gangsters are going to know if you're cheating because they know how to do it. And number 2, the big spenders are more likely to go where they know the games are fair. And so that was one of his rules. And the third thing, which I think is kind of funny, is he set aside, he had all these illegal businesses set aside some money, and every year he made a generous donation to the churches in town. And as far as we know, no church ever said, "No, we don't want that." Don't ask, don't tell, I think. The other thing I like to mention is he owned the Cotton Club. That's very important to our story because his owning the Cotton Club creates a very interesting situation when he comes here. Cotton Club is an all-black club, owned by a black man, all black entertainers in Harlem. The guy that owned it was Jack Johnson. When he gets into Europe, Madden buys him out. So now you got a white Irish guy from England owning the Black Cotton Club in Harlem. Kind of crazy. But the Cotton Club was a whites-only audience. Okay? Now when Madden comes here, what does that mean? That means Madden's very comfortable with the black community. He knows all the black entertainers. He knows all the black gangsters. And every gangster that came to town would check in with Owney Madden. He also knows all the white entertainers, all the white gangsters, and all the white gangsters came, they checked in with Madden. So in 1931, he comes here, deep south. Madden is kind of unusual in that he's a white man that feels very comfortable in the black community and socializes with them, has them to his house, goes out to eat with them, and is able to keep the peace on both sides and control on both sides. Okay? All right, he also dated a lady by the name Mae West. Some of you are probably old enough to remember at least the legend of Mae West. Mae West grew up in Hell's Kitchen as well. Madden protected her, and George Raft grew up in Hell's Kitchen. And Madden had a really good relationship with both of them. He dated Mae West for a while. When she was asked about him, she said, "Oh, he's so sweet, but so vicious." His other nickname besides Owney was Killer. Okay. Let's go down the hallway here.
These are pictures of Owney Madden. This is his wife, his home in Hot Springs. He became a U.S. citizen. He controlled the illegal activity in Hot Springs.
Armored car.
What's this lady waiting
And
for?
it's also, the glass is 1.5 inches thick. A lot of people believe it may be the first privately owned armored car in the United States. We used to have it on display here part of the year, and they displayed it in the Arlington part of the year. But the man who owned it passed away, and the family decided to sell it, and they sold it for $350,000. But a few months ago, it sold again, and that time it sold for $1 million. And it has a greater history, and more interesting history, I think, besides just Al Capone owning it. During the Second World War, after the bombing of Pearl Harbor, there was great concern that somebody would try to assassinate the president. And they were concerned enough that they said, well, we need an armored car. Well, the government did not have one. So somebody said, we still have ours. So they went and got his car, made sure it would run properly, and that's the car they used to move Roosevelt around the city of Washington, D.C. And that is the car he rode in to make his famous speech where he says, "This day will go down in infamy." Okay, so have a seat.